Coming up next on the Jeff Crilley Show, you're going to meet the former CEO of Bluebell Ice Cream, an iconic Texas brand. He's going to talk about his latest book. It's called One Scoop at a Time. It's about how to turn fear into faith. That's next.
Many are predicting that the worst is yet to come, which is unfortunate, said one person here. Until now, they've enjoyed the reputation of being the nation's icebox.
Watched a burglar in his home this morning by webcam.
As a journalist of over 25 years, stories are what make my world turn.
Reporting live from the Dallas newsroom tonight, Jeff Crilley, Fox 4 News.
But in 2008, I took the jump from my familiar life and started a PR firm from my home.
We're talking about anyone with a camcorder like the one I'm using becomes a television network.
We started slowly growing the company, and we now have over 100 clients, and we've branched into the world of live digital broadcasting. I now own 8 different TV studios and have a huge team, and the stories that I now get to share are sometimes the most important of my life. Life has a funny way of coming around full circle. This is the Jeff Crilley Show.
Oh, I'm so excited about this show because I met this gentleman 1 week ago. He was leaving our studios. He had been on another show, and I just happened to meet him. Had I been a minute late, I would have missed him. And I said, well, did you have a good experience? And he said, yes. And he showed me his book. It's called One Scoop at a Time. He is the former CEO of Bluebell Ice Cream. And we had a little chat in the hallway. And I said, the next time you're in Dallas, you have to come on my show. And so Ricky Dickson is in the studio. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Absolutely. So good to be here. So good to meet you as well.
Well, I mean, I can't imagine, you can't go anywhere and say the word Bluebell without somebody smiling. I mean, everybody has a memory associated with Bluebell, don't they?
No question about it. And it's always fun to hear not just Bluebell, then they have a favorite flavor that they'll sit there and swear that we made it specifically for them. And you just go along with it and say, yes, we had you in mind.
All right, tell us about the book. Had you been writing it in your mind for years before you actually sat down and put it on paper?
Actually, to go back in time, I actually started my career before I went to Bluebell. While I was at Baylor University, I wrote a paper on Bluebell ice cream for a consumer relation class. So now fast forward 43 years later, as I'm getting ready to retire, I thought, what a better way to go from a paper to an actual book of just a lot of fun memories and a lot of fun experiences that I had, but most importantly, turning fear to faith. So when I got the phone call, I had a lady call and say, you really need, to write a book, and now's the time. I said, okay, let's do it. And so there was a lot up there. Didn't realize it would flow like it did, but I was so happy when we got to the end of the final product.
Absolutely. We're going to put a full screen graphic on the screen so that you can see the book cover. One, I love this, and you had told me just before the show that strawberry ice cream was the first thing you tasted when you tasted Bluebell. Is that right?
That's right. I'd gotten the research done while I was in Brenham, but while I was at the creamery, I didn't walk over to the parlor and get some ice cream. And so when I got back to Waco, I said, I'm going to have to try some of this ice cream before I can write about this company. And so Fred and I got in the car. We drove down to Temple. It was in Temple, but it was not in Waco.
Wow.
And went in, found a half gallon, and we picked strawberry as our flavor. Got back in the car, flipped the lid, 2 spoons, and 30 minutes later, ice cream was gone, and we're back home. So.
Well, you're such a gregarious guy. What was it like to lead? You had 3,500 employees by the time you left. Is that right?
That's right. Yeah, and it was, really the heart and soul of what led me to Bluebell from the very beginning. The ice cream is obviously phenomenal, but it was more than ice cream. It was the dedication that I saw when I was there actually writing the paper.
Wow.
And I thought, people, they really seem to enjoy what they do. Now, again, they're making ice cream, but they had, they made it as if they're making it to take home to family. There was that much pride. And so I just absolutely love the family of the employees that we have at Bluebell. I say that in present tense, even though I'm retired, because I still consider them family.
Sure.
But the relationships, I can go out and buy ice cream today and still enjoy my favorite flavor, but it's the people that I'll always cherish.
Yes, that speaks volumes. We've got some video from the Bluebell plant in Brenham, and I want to put that on the screen and just maybe talk about the vibe. It wasn't just a place where people punched the clock, was it?
That's right. In fact, like I say, we're making it as if we're taking it home, and we try to instill that to those that are in a repetitive job all day long inside, whether you're making or sleeving ice cream. But the pride that went behind every half gallon was always there. And so
yes.
that was a great experience.
And you make the point in your book that whether you're having a good day or a bad day, ice cream is the answer, isn't it?
It's always waiting with a smile. There's no question. So, and we found that, not intentionally, but we noticed that when you do have a rough time, whatever you might be going through, at the end of the day, it is waiting on you. And then, of course, celebrations, whether it be a birthday or an anniversary, whether it's on top of a slice of pie or cake or just in a big old bowl by itself, it takes you somewhere. It creates memories that, unlike other items, maybe in the grocery store, and I won't pick on any, ice cream just has that ability to pull you to a memory. And almost all the time, it's a good memory.
And in the book, you actually talk about the listeria outbreak that happened in 2015. I can't even imagine what that must have been like for you, because you guys had to actually close the plant.
We did, and yes, it took us definitely to our knees. It was devastating, but at the same time, ice cream was at that time what we would consider very low risk for listeria. It's a product that's pasteurized and then immediately put into a minus 20 degree environment. So you'd think, even from an industry standpoint, that it's not that big of a risk. Well, it isn't a big risk until it is a big risk. And so we literally, we took all the equipment out, tore up the floors, tore the walls, redid everything you could think of on the interior of it. And then we brought in, during that same time, microbiologists, FDA, inspectors of all different kinds. And then we have connected with BRC audits that come in, and I'm so happy to say today we're either getting an A or a AA rating in all of our plants.
Wow. And
the only way you get, in some cases, an A+. And the way you get an A+ is when they show up and you're not expecting them to show up. Wow. And so that, to me, speaks the loudest. When they come in and you don't expect them, and we're able to get an A+. So couldn't be more proud of the program that we have in place.
Well, you talk about turning fear into faith. What was that like to be the leader? Because everybody's like looking at you.
Yes. At that particular time, I was vice president of sales, but at the same time, along with the president, Paul Crilley, we knew if we just went humble and do what we need to do the things that are right, learn along the way, and just do every single step and no compromise along the way, that we would pray that we would navigate through. But even then, when we came back, you still don't really know. And we're so thankful the consumer was waiting with spoon in hand that you're back.
Well, and you and I shared this story in the hallway. I remember waking up early watching Channel 5, and they were live at a grocery store that was getting Bluebell back for the first time. And I can't think in my adult life of another product that had reporters out there anxiously awaiting the return. And I think that speaks volumes to the goodwill that Bluebell built up over a century, right?
Yeah. It, no question, it was probably the most humbling and rewarding at the same time. It's so thankful that the consumer was there waiting. And we, it really pushes us to even be that much better. And every day is a new day. So you can't rest at all. When we enter the plant the next day to make an ice cream all the way to today, you've got to get it right today. And so we couldn't be more thankful.
And let's talk about the loyalty of the employees during that time, because they could all have left for other opportunities.
Right. Yes, definitely. And unfortunately, we had our first layoff to some of those employees in the history of the company. We had to furlough some of our employees. But at the same time, we knew if we got back, we could build back. And so we shut down in April of 2015 and came back into the market in September. And we had to start in a slow pace in the Houston area and the Alabama area. And then we just kind of started, stretching back out into our footprint. And we're able to get, within about a year and a half, 2 years, back into most of all the markets.
Wow. Let's talk about your faith, Ricky. How does it guide all of your decisions?
Oh, that's the core of who I am. I love to be known as the Bluebell guy, but I'd a lot rather be known as the guy that loves the Lord. My faith in Christ is my anchor. And I love to share the Mark 4 story when the disciples and Jesus get on the boat and they're going across the sea and the waves pick up and Jesus is at the front of the boat sleeping. And I've always wondered, how do you sleep in a storm, number one?
Yes.
The fact they wake him up and he's able to to calm the storm,
Yes.
and then turn and say, "Ye of little faith." And what I take from that is, if he can sleep in the storm, how do you have that peace? And that's really, again, the heart and soul of the book.
Yes, yes.
How do you have peace in the middle of a storm? And so that's in my life since, and really before, in those tough, dark days, I really try to visualize I'm there resting with my master, because he's the one in control, even though I'm totally out of control. So
Maybe you missed your calling. I think you could be a preacher. Have you been told that?
maybe once.
You share a wonderfully touching story in the book about kind of a last request, if you will. Would you share that with us?
Yes. There's one of the last chapters of the book is centered around a story of a sister that called on December the 28th, kind of frantic. It was 4:30 on a Friday. We're getting ready to go home for the weekend. My administrative assistant came running in and said, "I've got this phone call. We've got a lady on the phone that her sister is any day now going to die." And she had two requests. One is to make it to 59 years old, and the other is to have Bluebell at her celebration of life when she does pass. Her birthday was on that following Monday, and so we told her, we got this. And so we went into gear. She was, I think, in Alabama. We made connections, and I'm happy to report that both of those took place. She made it to 59, and then a little later did pass away. But the neat part about it is she asked the sister who made the call, she wanted the little wooden spoons to go along with the ice cream, and we were a little, okay. And then my administrative assistant called back later and asked, "Well, what was the situation with the spoons?" We just thought it was nostalgia, something that you would have. She said, "No, I wanted on every one of the packages the verse, Psalms 34:8, taste and see that the Lord is good." And I thought, wow. And that message has gone out, I want to say, 14 different countries, continents.
No kidding.
It's just been phenomenal.
The story went viral.
Yes, it went viral on Facebook, and so it's a great chapter, and I think that people will really be moved, and it drives home the point again that it's more than ice cream. It really, truly is making memories,
Yes.
and it is part of our lives.
And Ricky's a very popular speaker, and he's always at book signings. I found one of them that was covered by the local news. Let's go ahead and roll that.
It truly is a book about turning fear into faith when we go through tough times.
The former president and CEO of Bluebell Creameries says you have to take life one scoop at a time.
The author of the book, One Scoop at a Time, Ricky Dickson, worked for the Bluebell Ice Cream Company for 43 years. Dickson spent the day at Miss Ann's ice cream shop in the Old Country Store, where he signed copies of his book and got to know some people in the community.
People are passionate about their ice cream, and so I didn't want to let them down.
Bluebell Ice Cream is the official ice cream for Miss Ann's ice cream shop. The president of the Old Country Store, Brooke Shaw, told 39 News it was an honor to host the former president of Bluebell Creameries.
Bluebell was my grandmother's favorite ice cream. And so as we named the ice cream shop after her, I think Miss Ann would really be excited to meet him herself.
Next stop on the book signing tour is Nashville. Mecca Jarman, 39 News, Jackson.
Wow, and I can already imagine, because I was a reporter for 25 years, they had to draw straws on who gets the Bluebell assignment. Right? That's probably always the most popular assignment in every newsroom. In the book, you also talk about your dad.
I do. My dad was very, very special to me. He taught throughout my life, and when I say that, he lived so much of what he preached, and you don't really see that very often. I told him before he passed away that I don't remember a time that he got mad, but I do remember a time he got stern. And so a lot of my life lessons not just came from him, but it was, again, his faith in Christ that really was probably the biggest lesson. Both Mom and Dad were so inspirational. Mom was my prayer warrior. Dad was my why do we believe this go-to guy. Nice. And so having that balance was really a blessing for me. But yeah, I have some great fun stories of going hunting with him to there's some embarrassing moments in there as well, but even though I pick on myself, I think we can all relate back to those experiences.
Okay, I would be remiss in doing a show about Bluebell without talking about what goes into the painstaking decisions that are made, because you're introducing a new flavor. Nobody wants a flop. What goes into choosing a new flavor?
Great question. I look forward to that phase every year. We'll take recommendations from all over, whether it be consumers or employees. Our R&D department is always trying to come up with new creative ideas. And it's interesting that you can take what you would think the same ingredients and move them around and still come out with something new. Similar to writing a song on the piano, same notes, same keys, but yet you're able to create something brand new. And we go through a series of experiments. In those days, I usually will call my wife and say, we don't need to eat a lot for dinner tonight because we've been eating ice cream all day. But at the same time, we'll narrow it down to about 15, and then we'll shoot those out to the entire sales department all over the country, and then kind of work our way back down to 5 to 7 new creations. And then every other month, you'll see something new usually out in the market.
And is the most popular flavor still vanilla?
Still vanilla, homemade vanilla.
Yes.
Yes.
I mean, you can't imagine peach cobbler in Texas without Bluebell ice cream on top of it. During your time there, what was the biggest hit that you guys came up with, like new flavor that instantly took off?
Well, I would say there's a couple. Millennium Crunch in the year 2000, it's one of our top 10 every year. Phenomenal flavor. And then the more recent was Cookie Two-Step, when we took the cookies and cream and added the chocolate chip cookie dough and put them together. And it just launched right out of the block. So,
you and your wife were at home, and I mean, you can choose from any one of the flavors. Which one do you guys settle on?
And what's great is we really do pretty much have the same taste. Now we'll buy the Great Divide because I'm more vanilla, she's more chocolate. But we love salted caramel brownie.
Oh, wow.
And here lately, and it's a flavor we've had. I've been, I just retired after 43 years, but Tin Roof has been one of those. We have become back to a vanilla ice cream with a chocolate sauce and chocolate-covered peanuts. I mean, just a simple flavor. We know that it's becoming popular when we go back and get that second half gallon at the store. You can go through two people going through 1 half gallon is one thing, but when you go back and get the same flavor, okay, this one I think is pretty good.
Wow. Well, Ricky, you are so inspirational. I urge everybody to go to his website and get the book. But let's give you a chance to give final thoughts. What would you like to leave people with?
Well, first, thank you again for having me on and for the opportunity to share the book one scoop at a time. I really hope and pray that the book not just talks about ice cream and fun and how Bluebell not only started, but the journey with Bluebell, but really the core of it is how to find that peace in the middle of a storm. Better yet, how do you have the peace that passes understanding? Something that it takes a while to journey through as a human, but at the same time, knowing that there's a loving God that is right there waiting. That's really, again, the heart and soul. And I really thank you for this opportunity.
Yeah, and thank you for sharing your heart and your faith with us. We're going to end with the website, which is onescoopatatime.com. The great Ricky Dickson. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you.
You bet. That's it for now. We'll see you next time.